Every time we come from Pixley to Delano, and we're going to cross the tracks over to Rite Aid now, it used to be Thrifty, my husband says, that's where your mother used to try to stop the trains. And Esther was there with me. I don't know if she remembers.
Well, we were walking around, and we were walking in the railroad tracks in front of the train. The train was coming, and it was going real slow.
We were trying to protest about the shipping the grapes. Early, about 3 o'clock in the morning, we would be there, and it was freezing.
It was at night. It was nighttime. There were a whole bunch of us. People were different places. It was very cold. But we were walking. Caesar had been there, and Caesar left. And so when Caesar left, then we started doing, walking around and trying to hold the train there. So then the police came, and they said that we had to leave. We couldn't be doing that. So that we had to leave, and they went. We wouldn't stop, so they went to the house to get Caesar, to talk to Caesar. So then we finally stopped, and then when we got there, Caesar says, do you guys know that you're crazy, that you're not supposed to be doing these things?
But we want to make a point that they couldn't take those grapes with them. But they did, I guess, anyway, but we were there, and every time we come from Pixley, right across the Rite Aid, my husband says, that's where your mother was trying to stop the train, and then she never stopped one. But I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad that my kids know about it. That's why I'm here right now, because then my kids can tell their kids how we fought to better all this stuff, because we didn't have anything.
When Caesar was holding his meetings at the different towns, he came to Early Mart, and at that time I wasn't very much involved. I didn't get involved in anything. I went to work. I was a housewife, went to work in the fields, came back home, did the cooking and all this. And my husband had heard that there was this man that was going around in the different towns holding house meetings. And so there was a house meeting at just down the street from us, so he went to that, and that's how he became a member of the union. One of the things that Caesar was offering was a life insurance, that the family could have a life insurance, and we had had a baby that had passed away in 1950, well, actually 57. He was 8 months old, and we didn't have any money to bury him. So my aunt went all around the different houses in the towns to collect money to bury the child. So that was one of the things that my husband thought when he became a member, that Caesar had offered a life insurance program for members. So that's how we became a member. Then we voted to join AWOC with the strike. There were picket captains that were elected to go into the different towns. Gilbert Padilla was our picket captain. He came to Early Mart, and we all gathered at my in-laws' house. And so that's how I started going out into the picket lines. One of the first ranches that we did quite a bit of picketing was at Pagarulo. We had been picketing for about a month. I guess I had been picketing for a month. Dolores was in charge of the membership department of the NFWA. She wasn't going out too much into the field, so she needed someone to put in the office so that she could go out and organize, because that was what she did. She knew that I knew something. I mean, she sensed that I could do some things, I guess. So she put me in the office in the membership department, where I was for 7 years. I worked in the membership department. But while working in the membership department, we had to, Helen was in charge of the credit union. Helen and I had worked more hours than I don't know what, because we would finish our day. We'd go early in the morning to go out and picket, then go to the office, man the office all day, then work at night sending out mailings to the different places to get money to come in. So we'd work until probably 1 o'clock in the morning. Then we'd go home. I'd come to Early Mart with my husband. I didn't have a car. Then go in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning back to the office. I would arrive at the office early in the morning, then Caesar would arrive. Only two of us until later on the picketers came. So then nothing to do, so I'd start cleaning up all the office. Right here, in fact, it's right down, right there next door. So I'd clean all the office, and And so that's what I did for many, many years. Anytime that the food started coming in to Filipino Hall. We'd get maybe hamburger meat. Some unions would give milk, sweet bread. Helen and I, the others that were there in the offices, could never get any of the stuff because everything was gone. By the time we got out of the office, everything was gone. So we'd have to do with whatever, and it wasn't until December of 1965 that we got the first $5,000 from Walter Reuther. And 1960, in the same year, right around October, sometime in the last week of October, there was a meeting that was called, and we were supposed to go and protest and get jailed and all that. So that was when the 44 were jailed. We were out at Morris Ranch, I believe it was, and we were picketing, yelling huelga for people to come out. And so the police came, told us to disperse. We didn't. We kept on yelling, and so they called a paddy wagon and put us all in a paddy wagon in one car and took us to jail. And we were in jail for 3 days. While we were there, then they decided to take the little kids. We had people taking care of the little kids, so they took them to the jail. Other children, some of the other workers with children, they took them to the jail to go and protest. So all our children went to jail, and they were outside the jail. We were making news because Caesar was up in Berkeley at the time, and he was announcing. He announced there, or he got a call and said that we had been jailed. So right there he announced and said that 44 people had been jailed. And so, it got all kinds of attention all over. We were all over the news. And so when they decided to take all the kids to the jail, then the kids were outside singing, "Ain't afraid of no jail, but I want my mommy," is what they were singing. I think it was the thing that said the "Si se puede" thing. My mother-in-law raised my children, because I was all the time very early in the office, very late at night coming home. I'd come and then pick up my kids at my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, well, in fact, all my in-laws left the union probably around December because they had homes, they had family, they needed to go back to work. Not in the grapes, they needed to go work somewhere else. And so my mother-in-law, I asked her if she would take care I would continue with the union. My husband and my husband was a security guard, one of the first security guards for Caesar. And I wanted to continue with the union. Working in the membership department, I knew that I could do some things. I was learning more. And so my mother-in-law, Frances, decided that she would take care of my kids. So my mother-in-law was like a mother to them instead of me. It wasn't normal, but that was what I wanted to do, and they knew. They later on talk about it, and they said, their grandmother was their mother because I wasn't there. Yeah, now they understand. They understand now that I had to do what I had to do. It was something that I believed in, and I had to do it, and they understand that. Now, one of the hardest things I think for me was that in 1969, I believe it was, Caesar had gone on touring all over to raise funds in the boycott. And he had gone all over to Canada. And I guess him and Leroy were in contact with each other, and I was going sort of off. I was working too hard. I was overworked. Things were changing in the membership department. Mr. Kiefer was changing everything, and so I was losing it. I think I was losing it. And so I think Leroy was in touch with Caesar because Leroy came and asked me if I would go, that Caesar wanted the wives, Helen, and then the wives of the security guards to go and join with him. And so that's, I said, no, I can't go. And Caesar told Leroy, she's got to go. She's got to come. I don't know why. I didn't want to go. That's all I know. I didn't want to leave my kids. It was bad enough, but I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go and leave my kids for a month I think it was a month that we were away. But we went, and as soon as we got there, I knew that Caesar called the doctor right away, called his doctor, and it was in Chicago that we met up with him. And so he called Dr. Prieto, called him, Dr. Prieto, he called them, and he came to examine me and, gave me a sedative and all that.